Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone Roving Mscribe, and today we're going to be talking about crypto AI.
Yeah, finally, dude. We're back again.
Well, here's why we're back. It says the crypto AI sector has doubled in market cap over the past 3 weeks from $4.5 billion to $9.1 billion.
Yeah, which sounds impressive, so long as you remove the context of like how high it once was, like around.
How high was it?
I think like 20, 30 billion at its peak.
Yeah,
right?
so the heart is starting to beat again.
Yeah, which we need some of that blood circulating back into our lives, right? We need some hopeful optimism for the AI crypto sector because, I mean, as we predicted, this wasn't a flash in the pan fad, right?
Yeah, so you're saying that this is not a dead cat bounce, is it?
Well, let's hope not. I would assume it not to be just because, I mean, AI is just it's too damn important to ignore, right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
As like an industry sector value add. So as we do on this channel, we're going to continue to follow it, its whole progression through its highs and its lows and see what manifests, right?
Yeah, so let's continue on here. Alchemist AI job is not done. Huge thanks to all the alchemists around the world for your support. We couldn't have done this without you. And they're referring to being the #1 in AI applications as a market cap leader.
Yeah, so we talked about ALCH, how it posed some pretty promising utility, specifically in the Metaverse sector, right? The ability to like prompt.
Vibe code your way to an application.
I guess that's the new terminology, right?
That's right.
You're vibe coding 3D experience, right? Which, you know, from a Metaverse developer standpoint, that is highly useful, right?
Yeah, 100%.
One of the biggest like friction points to anything in the context of the building out the Metaverse is like populating content because it's complicated and expensive in a lot of aspects, right? So
yeah, imagine like an iteration of this is you could vibe code your way to an application, but you can also connect your platform to MCP, to MCP servers, and all of a sudden you have AI also creating 3D models and textures and animations.
100%. So all of us like Metaverse, you know, builders, whether you're Decentraland or Sandbox or the other side or Bitmap OS, whatever, you could plug into an application like this. So now your users can vibe code their own properties, right? Start to build their own experiences, and people will come and visit these things. Now you got user retention going up. So yeah, so it's working, right? It started off as like a little humble AI app. Now it's quite the showcase of, you know, what you could do with crypto incentives, right?
Yeah. So here's an example of what one of the outputs you could do with vibe coding a game. And
I mean, that looks eerily close to Battlefield 1942. I don't know if anybody played that game, but I quite enjoyed that game.
This looks very similar to Battlefield 1942.
Oh yeah, absolutely similar. Like very similar. One of the greatest. Well, maybe like a little bit like
more fidelity, higher fidelity.
Yeah, Battlefield. So this is like a prototype version, maybe.
Yeah.
To Battlefield 1942.
Yeah, this is what you're trying to like pitch to investors. Like, you know, here's the game. Here's kind of like a rough cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, imagine this, but a full scale battle.
Yeah, and like no code ability required to manifest this, right? Like imagine, I mean, that's cool. I mean, we see what these types of UGC ecosystems have done in Web 2 with like Roblox and such. I mean, it's produced multi-billion-dollar industries, right? But again, those are tool sets still tailored and designed for developers at the end of the day, right? So the promise of AI here is you don't need to be a coder anymore. You could have like a Roblox-esque ecosystem at some point where all you got to know how to do is just like think creatively, right?
Yeah, they said that the English language is going to be the most popular programming language.
Why?
Because everybody knows English, and now we have AI, and AI can vibe code with us.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good news for me, dude. That's the only language I'm equipped with.
Right.
If it was any other language, I'm screwed. I'm out of the fucking life, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so how is Alchemist doing? So it did its run along with all the other AI crypto tokens, and then it did its dump like everything else.
Yeah.
But then it's back.
It's been back.
A 10x, yeah.
Like some of the other tokens we're about to talk about now, like they're just now showing their glimmers of like a beating pulse. But this thing's been humming along for a while now, right? Just through like the most treacherous of crypto times, right? It's just kept going up. So this is
Yeah.
pretty bullish price action. And if you're one of those TA guys, kind of looks like one of those cup and handle formations.
Is that what that looks like? A cup and handle?
Kinda.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you do like a little line, there's definitely cup. There's a handle forming. Right?
Yeah, which way is the handle? Is it on the left side or on the right
It
side?
should be on the right side, right
Okay.
there. So the handle would be forming right now.
Okay.
So if you're a TA guy, you draw a line at the top there. You wait for it to break out above that line. Then it's like that's your entry all in.
I see. So price discovery mode, essentially.
Yeah, it's gonna fly, right?
Okay.
Yeah, this is your little TA 101 technical analysis.
It's not horoscopes at all.
Yeah.
All right. Immortal, he says AI agents hype is getting real. Weekly volume up 140%. Virtual holders 700,000. Price pump 3x in 15 days.
Yeah, so virtuals. It's been a while since we talked about that. But that's a lot of holders, dude. 700,000.
That is, man. What the?
That's insane. So why are people wanting to hold this token? Right?
Yeah, so let's figure that out here. We're going to explain that. And yeah, here's that heartbeat I was talking about. It's like, yeah, it looks dead, but there's life.
Yeah, I guess this means, if you study that whole market psychology chart, it feels like we've been through like the euphoric bubble, the capitulation downward, the fear, the despair, and like this is the disbelief rally, right? Where it's like,
or yeah, the dead cat bounce potentially.
Well, no, the disbelief rally is when you're actually.
Oh yeah, when you're on your way up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are questioning, like you're saying, it's a dead cat bounce. That's the disbelief.
Be. Yeah, but yeah, so that's right. So yeah. So
the psychology checks out. Right?
It applies exactly.
So who knows, right?
Yeah. So this is the Virtuals platform, and here are all the agents that are launching on the Virtuals platform. And
this is the Genesis launch. So this is the new stuff that they introduced.
Yeah. So this is where you need Virgen Points in order to get access to these launches.
Those so cherished Virgen Points, dude.
Yeah, I have none of those.
Me neither, dude. I'm plumb empty on those.
Congratulations, dude.
But we can reclaim our virgin status here, dude. They presented an opportunity for us to like purify our souls.
Finally.
That's all we've always been looking for, dude. Some purity.
Yeah.
Right? So all you have to do is basically acquire some virtual tokens, right? And now there are other tokens within this ecosystem, I think, that qualify you for Virgen point allocation.
Mm-hmm.
I think Acolyte is one. I think maybe Vader AI is another. But as you hold and accrue these assets, so do your status of virginity.
Nice.
Right? So the application of that is you can get in on some of these pre-sales, right? So this gives me very like IDO vibes from last cycle. Right? Remember those days?
Yeah, and so let's go through an example of what happens when you launch on the platform and something good happens. It says BIOS update. Virtuals brought us back from the trenches. It's at 6 million market cap. That's BIOS, by the way, not Virtuals. And that's a 50x from the pre-sale. So that is the reason why you want to be, or at least have some Virgen Points.
Yeah, you don't want to be a full-blown virgin. You just want to
just have some
Virgin
points.
Tinge of virginity in you, Or you go full-blown all the way and get the max allocation, right? You could be a virgin whale in this ecosystem, right?
Right.
Yeah, because that's the point, right? You want to stack these points, do your due diligence. Go back to that panel. It's like, here's your opportunity, guys. These are like upcoming. And so study up. Do your research on each of these individually. See if they resonate with you, whether or not you think they'll resonate with the market itself, right? They're different agents. They all do different things.
Okay.
If you look at the past ones here, look at the little toggle right there. Next to live and upcoming.
Top right?
No, down right there.
Oh, ended. Okay.
So this is what they've done so far. So you could see.
I see. So
kind of like a graveyard, but some of these are doing well, right?
So this one oversubscribed 771.
Yeah. So if they oversubscribe, that essentially means they've bonded, right?
I see.
And if they're not oversubscribed, they're basically dead.
Okay,
right?
so about 50% win rate here.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, this totally gives me Polka Starter IDO vibes.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Back in those days, we saw like IDOs do 100Xs, 200Xs. Then eventually it just totally ran out of steam.
Yeah. Right. As everything does. Yeah, so we're looking at a 50X here, and that's it's Basis OS on Twitter or X, but it's called BIOS.
Yeah.
And this is their website. So autonomous Def AI protocol for agentic economy.
Yeah, so if you look into the docs and such, it gives you essentially different helpful contributions to your own like crypto journey, right? If you want some technical analysis inquiry for some specific token or maybe fundamental analysis, it'll help you on that regard.
I mean, it would be cool for you to look at a chart like which one we're looking at? This one? That's like,
true.
Hey, AI, is this a cup and handle forming here?
It's a good point. Yeah, or maybe you didn't even know what a cup and handle is, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, look at this chart.
Yeah,
Do you notice anything?
Yeah, tell me about this. Is this investable? It's like, oh, it looks like we're forming a cup and handle. So typically you want to get in and
yeah, it's like let's wait for that formation here on the right to play out.
Right.
Like here's our entry. It's like once it gets there,
yeah, that's cool.
I recommend you allocate 20% of your portfolio value here.
Wow, 20%, huh?
And then you get completely murked, right? When it doesn't end up panning out.
Correct.
But nonetheless, that's the value proposition for these DeFi AI agents, right?
Yeah, and so we're looking at the BIOS token right here, and it's only green candles on the daily.
Yeah. So from a DGen's point of view, this is the beacon of lights you're looking for, right?
This is it. Yeah.
So there's an ecosystem here. Who knows how many of these will replicate, right? But the game is to be positioned for it, right?
Yeah, so if you want another example, Holly is another example. This is Hollywood, and it did very similar, but with some red candles in there here and there, but nonetheless still up.
Yeah, it's so we got some number go up tech. What is Holly?
Yeah, Holly, it's Hollywood AI, lead speak. It says, I'm not the content, I'm the consequence, which is kind of cool.
Very alpha.
But this generates like videos for you, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's some tokenomics play here too, where like the community has some interplay with what this AI agent ends up becoming, right? So you can, use your token weight to, I guess, make suggestions as far as like what this AI agent should be producing content wise, and if it does well, if it somehow discovers a monetization angle to it, it will distribute portions of that revenue to the token holders.
Yeah, so there's revenue sharing, staking, and creative ownership. So Holly powers the economic system behind Hollywood. It links participation with real rewards and gives artists, builders, and viewers a stake in the creative machine they help run. So what can you do with Holly, the token? Stake it to earn a cut of the revenue, receive airdrops for creative input and network engagement, get early access to tools and drops, and vote on proposals that influence the system's growth and direction.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a DAO in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very much like a DAO alignment with the token holders and the productive agent associated to that. So it's interesting. It's good to see like a little bit more like further experimentation with like the tokenomics utility beyond just like a meme coin that represents the agent, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's doing well. So yeah, again, what you want to do if you're interested in this space is, increase your virginity status, right?
As you should.
Through non-traditional means that,
Yeah, not.
Fortunately, you can't just like go celibate. Yeah, you really can't go back once you cross those evil, treacherous waters, right?
Right. All right, so let's move on. Why is virtuals on the timeline again? Genesis launches are worth a deep dive. It's worth your time as it solves so many trench issues such as snipers, ruggers, and dumpers. So you earn Virgen Points, you pledge them, you receive a guaranteed allocation on the hottest new agent launches. Some of these recent launches, like BIOS or Basis OS, is sitting at a 4,000% gain. You can earn points by simply holding Virtual's tokens, which are 2 to 3x in the last few weeks, by the way. So holding virtual tokens, staking Vader tokens, investing in graduated prototype agents like Rain AI and Jungle Defense, and then making quality posts about the virtual ecosystem. So this is, I think we're going to talk about it next, yapping, right? Out of points, introduce Yap for points.
Oh, yeah. So this is like Kaido, right?
Yeah.
Or Yap, yeah. So essentially they're creating, so all this boils down to is just be present, be part of the ecosystem's growth, whether that's minting these things, bringing or holding the native tokens post mint, right? So they're trying to incentivize and encourage non-dumping.
Yes.
Right. So you can be part of these TGEs, whatever, hold them, but you don't want to just instantly dump these things once they hit the market, right? Because then you're reducing your virginity status.
Yeah.
For future allocations. Right?
That's right. That's right.
it's a good little flywheel. And then if you don't have the capital to be like that impactful, you don't have the capital weight like the most of us, then what you can do is leverage your social influence. Just get on Twitter, yap about this stuff, and then maybe it'll pique their radar, and then they'll just like allocate you some status, right?
Yeah, so earn points.
They're capturing the whole spectrum of like user activity in crypto, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
These guys know what they're doing.
The flywheel that you're talking about, All right, so another AI project, Think AI, own our intelligence.
So this is interesting. This is NFT based, right?
Yeah. So
which agents are not, or virtual agents are not NFT based. These are
correct.
Fungible tokens.
Yeah, with an agent behind it.
Right. So think of it as like content coins, right? There's a single piece of content on Zora or whatever. Meme coin supply around that. Similar concept there, but these are actual NFTs.
Yeah, and they have a podcast which we listened to, I think, last week or something like that. It was pretty interesting.
Is there a video here we can watch? Let's see.
Well, I think this is it.
How long is this video? Should we watch it? Let's see.
Welcome to
2
Think
minutes.
Agents. We are on a mission to get every single human their own personal intelligence. What do we mean by that? Well, we're entering into an age of intelligence, one where it's not just our phones, but it's an ever-present AI that's able to read what we write, hear what we say, see what we see. All of these tools are becoming available right now. And some people are choosing to build on top of rented systems. What does that mean? That means like big companies like Google and OpenAI and Amazon, they would love to offer you an intelligence that they own and you rent. They would love to have access to your data. They would love to decide what ethics and morals are for you. They would love to decide who you can connect with and what you can do. And they want to reserve the right to actually turn it off when they want. It's happened to a lot of my friends. What we're doing here at Think is we're actually building a protocol to have an open source composable system that connects all of the Web3 and Web2 AI players and allows you to have an AI agent that is your personal agent. Now with this agent, you can own the data and control who has access to it. It's your keys. You can upgrade and personalize this to look the way you want, to talk the way you want, to listen the way you want, to have skills and tools just how you want. This is your personal agent. You're going to be able to make it how you want. Last, it's an ecosystem. So there's actually already dozens of companies who are providing their infrastructure to be able to make Think agents possible. And so these tools all connect together. So as an end user, you don't have to have the experience of like a developer tool or something that's hard to use. What's actually happening is companies are building the user experiences for you. And so as an early adopter, you're going to be a person who owns your agent. And as a Genesis Think agent holder, you're going to be at the center of this network. You're going to get to be among the first to actually own this data and be part of growing this network. And so a way to think about this is, if we were going into the industrial age, would you want to be a person who owns a factory, who owns a supply chain, who helps make this possible, or do you want to be the worker that shows up to work for them? I think it's clear for me, I want to own my intelligence, I want to own my future, and I don't want to rent it from somebody else. And so I hope you'll join me. I hope if you're an engineer, you'll contribute to the open source side of things. I hope that if you're a person who also values the ability to think for themselves, I hope you join us.
It's quite the ambiance,
so good
dude. Look at that, right at the end, dude. His fucking hair just started like majestically it's fucking twirl in the wind, dude. It's like God's on his side, dude.
It's part of design, dude.
You wonder if there's a fan guy on the side there? It's like, crank it up, Jimmy, dude.
Yeah.
Right there. That was pretty... That was good. That was good productions at the end.
It's
I don't know if that was coincidence.
It's like when we did Meme Coin Moses. I had all the fans on you.
That's right. We had to architect our greatness, dude.
Yeah.
He's like naturally aligned with nature.
With nature, yeah.
God.
That was good stuff.
That was good. So, yeah. So,
that was pretty eloquent. I can appreciate that. The differences between like something like OpenAI where they own everything versus something completely Web3 based.
There's traditional... there's a reason for that, right? Because traditionally things that do well in crypto is like when you paint a big bad wolf in the room picture, right?
Yep.
Like DeFi did so well because the financial institutions control everything, right? You gotta leverage these on-chain rails to disrupt that, right? So
now the banks are adopting Web3.
yeah, now we're like begging them to like come on chain, right? So, but AI, same thing, right? It's like this is a technology that's gonna change everything. And, we got to do the best we can, I guess, to distribute as much of that as we can and have, ownership over what it is we can control, I guess. So,
yeah.
So the ethos alignment's there. So again, these things, they already minted, I think, like this first version of them.
Yeah, so the docs are here.
There's a roadmap.
There's a roadmap in the docs.
Mm-hmm.
But here are the think agents we were talking about. So they minted their NFTs, and they start at 0.4 ETH.
Yeah, so essentially these are referred to as souls at the moment because, look at them. They're just nothing. Blank canvases.
They're souls, yeah.
But the idea, like you said, is to create as many like integrations as you can. So, at some point they'll have like embodiments, meaning like your agent can have like a personalized look and feel to them. And then, I think they all have like their own unique personality traits as well. So it's interesting to see the AI space traversing into NFTs, right?
Yeah, finally.
I know, right? Something needs to like get NFTs interesting again.
Yeah, 100%. You know what else is interesting? Noose just raised $50 million.
Yeah, man, I wish I was wearing my Noose hoodie today, but it's too damn hot out there. But yeah, I was expecting this, right? We've been talking about Noose research for a while now. It's like a lot of people didn't know, like the underpinning of a lot of these things, like the first wave of traction was like built on top of a lot of like the research and, Hermes, that model.
The LLM,
Yeah, but I think they've made that declaration, right? They're going the full Web3 route, which means, an eventual token, and they've announced that to be on Solana at some point, right?
Wow.
So typically big token airdrops, TGEs come with big funding rounds.
Correct. Yeah, so there's a tweet here by Noose Research. Reinforcement learning in the era of LLMs requires scalable, distributed systems to push the boundaries of reasoning and alignment. Today we release Atropos, our RL environment framework. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, if you scroll down, they make their statement here. Scroll down a little bit more. Right here. Together, these pieces culminate into an asynchronous distributed system for the state-of-the-art post-training with reinforcement learning. So these
reinforcement learning, this is how you make AGI.
Yeah, and, this is, I think, the general thesis of, like, where is Web3's, like, killer contribution to the progression of our direction towards AGI? Token vehicles are the ultimate reinforcement device.
100%.
Right? So, it said right there, you kind of skipped over it.
Oh, sorry.
It's that these components that they're putting out now is part of what Psyche is, right? Which it's a decentralized training network. So that sounds familiar to Potensor, right? So Potensor's obviously a behemoth in its own right. So I think we got a legitimate contender here also entering itself into this space.
This post-training workloads are very important for that reinforcement learning because as you're interfacing with this AI, it makes some sort of discovery. It puts it into this memory bank. It uses that discovery as a basis for knowledge growth for the next thing that it finds. And it uses that data to continue its progress.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is really cool. And, we talked about this token. It's called the nothing token. There's no taker. It's just empty. Like, let me prove it to you guys. It's like, there's nothing here.
Nothing at all.
Right. I think it's just a space. Like the character is just a space.
Yeah. Yeah. We regularly talked about it, basically during like its cataclysmic drop in valuation along the entire way because of its association with Noose, right? With the God, the Satan, and
and Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Yeah.
All those X profiles are agentified by Noose, right? So there is some sort of loose association there. Potential speculation around an airdrop allocation.
Yeah, so that's why we're talking about this because their connection to Noose and potential airdrop.
Yeah, this is one of those Hail Mary gamble plays, right?
Yeah.
Especially now while it's down so hard. Might be worth. And if you zoom in a bit, some people,
this
took
is
the bet.
This is the Noose Research 50 million raise.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's bullish, right? So, everybody's going to be clamoring for a piece of that airdrop somehow, if one even exists, right? So gamble if you want. That is the information we're putting out there. We're not suggesting anybody do anything with that. Just it's for funsies, right?
All right. That's it for us, all you virgins. Definitely keep watching, keep sharing the videos, and stay healthy. I guess there's a lot of agents coming.
And celibate.
And celibate, yeah.
Yeah, don't fall.
Yeah, and if you guys want us to talk about any specific project, please put it in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.